This is your one and only FireSpark81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and today we are taking a look at some tips and tricks to help you in your Hogwarts Legacy journey. Let's get to it. The first tip is to get the hopping pot recipe as soon as possible. You can place up to 3 of these in the room of requirement, and they just give you a free random potion every 12 minutes. And you don't have to do anything, like it's just every 12 minutes you get 3 free random potions. I cannot stress to you how incredibly helpful this can be in just about any combat situation. And if you collect from them frequently, you can quickly and easily max out all of your potion stacks. You can re-roll the item in any chest. It doesn't matter what that item is, whether you pull gear out of it, money out of it, potions out of it, or even the traits that you can get from doing the bandit camps. This is because the item that you pull from the chest is generated at the time in which you open the chest. This means all you have to do in order to re-roll the item is to save before you open the chest that you want to re-roll. If you don't get an item that you like, you just reload the save and open it again. This is an absolutely fantastic strategy for farming specific traits to put on your gear or just farming all of the tier 3 traits. A similar trick can be used to farm gear, money, and ingredients from monsters and enemies on the map. You will find enemies out in the wild just in random locations that aren't marked on the map. If you fight these enemies and kill them, all you need to do is save the game and reload it, and those enemies will immediately respawn, allowing you to fight them again. This is super handy for farming ingredients for some specific potions, effectively allowing you to farm infinite amounts of whatever ingredient you need. Collecting resources from your beasts can be relatively time consuming. However, you can speed this up relatively quickly by canceling the caring animations. So for example, if you need to brush one of your little beasties, you can activate the brush and then summon them. When you summon them, it cancels the animation. Then you can immediately go into feeding them, allowing you to quickly collect the resources from them. You shouldn't really have to be collecting resources from them very often, as they are only used to upgrade your gear, and you're going to get to a point where you won't be upgrading as often as you do from the start. However, after doing the whole process a few times, it begins to get a little tedious, at least for me it did. So this amazing tip that was provided to me by one of my amazing community members was definitely welcome, so I wanted to share it with you all as well. The next tip is there are random quests that pop up all over the map depending on what stage you are in the game. But these quests aren't always super visible, and they don't show up in your quest tracker until you go talk to the person and get them. There are 2 ways you can help to spot these quests. One, zoom in on all locations. The other thing you can do is use your reveal spell while flying. If you are flying near one of them and you use your reveal spell, it shows all of the map icons on the screen in front of you while you are flying. Both of these things can help you spot some quests that you may otherwise miss. When you start to mess with the different traits that you can put on your gear, you may think that speccing into a trait that ups the damage on something specific will cause it to do more damage than one of the traits that just ups the damage on everything of that class, specifically the ones that have to do with plants. The herbology trait actually causes all of your plants to deal more damage than if you were to spec into a specific plant trait. As you can see with the example shown on the screen, I have all herbology traits specced on all of my gear, and the mandrake root does significantly more damage than it does if I only have the mandrake specific trait specced on all of my gear. Petrificus totalis is an extremely strong ability that is often overlooked. Many people think that this is only useful for stealth gameplay, and while an enemy and all enemies around you have to be unaware of your presence in order for you to use this ability, it is relatively easy to make enemies unaware of you in combat, starting with the invisibility potion. You can use this in the middle of combat and walk up to a group of enemies and use Petrificus totalis. And if you have the Petrificus totalis mastery, it can easily eliminate the entire group of enemies that is around you. Now, this this gets even more interesting when you realize that there are 2 different spells that can make enemies unaware of your presence. The first of those being a Resto Momentum. Now, I want to point out that this only works if all enemies are unaware of your presence or you only have 1 enemy left. So for example, if you are surrounded by 3 goblins and you cast a Resto Memento on one of them, you cannot use Petrificus on that goblin. However, if you kill the other 2 goblins, then you use a Resto Momentum on the last goblin, you can just walk up to that goblin and use Petrificus Totalis and immediately eliminate that goblin. Now, obviously, a Resto Momentum is only going to work on enemies that a Resto Momentum works on, and it does not work on all enemies. For example, it does not work on trolls. You can cast it on the troll and it will slow the troll down for a second, but then the troll will immediately shake it off and come and mash you with its giant club. Which leads us to our next spell, which I have not found a single target immune to this spell, and that is the Imperial spell. This unforgivable curse leaves the target unaware of your presence. It attacks everything around it, but if everything around it is dead and it is the last thing left on the battlefield, all you have to do is walk up to it and hit whatever key it is for you to cast Petrificus Totalis. For me, that key is the F key, and the troll will immediately take a buttload of damage. And I can just keep casting this over and over and over again as long as he is under the effects of the Imperial Curse. Once you start to realize all the little nuances that combat in this game has like this, combat, and with it, your control of the battlefield becomes significantly easier. Last but not least, do not underestimate the Adorous Potent potency. This talent allows you to become absolutely invulnerable for a significant amount of time. This can allow you a much needed breath when things get a little hectic when you are battling large groups of enemies. And I mean completely invulnerable. A troll can come up and smash you with its club and nothing happens. And if you follow my first recommendation in this video of getting the hopping pots, that should give you a decent stack of these Adorous potions. If you find combat challenging at all, I highly advise making this talent one of the first talents you pick up. Being in what is essentially God mode, even if it's for a short period of time, is easily one of the strongest powers that can be bestowed onto a player in any game. All right, and that is pretty much it for this one. Let me know what you all thought about these tips down in the comment section. Did I teach you anything? Did you already know them all? I'm eager to hear your all's thoughts. And if you enjoyed this video, consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other videos. And if you're looking for another Hogwarts Legacy video, you can find a link to one of those on the screen right now. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to all of my channel supporters for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to become an official channel supporter, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.